The Bliss Business Podcast, the show about empathy, connection, and consciousness in business. Today's episode is brought to you by Zero Company, your paid search, social media, and programmatic ad experts.
Hello, and welcome back to the Bliss Business Podcast series, Scaling with Purpose. I'm Steven Cash here with Tulio Saragusa. Hey, Tulio.
I'm here to scale.
All right, let's do this. So this is one of our Scaling with Purpose shows. This is our 10-minute series where we explore how to embed purpose into every level of your business. In today's episode, we're diving into creating a purpose statement that guides growth. We'll walk through some practical steps to help you craft a purpose statement that is clear, authentic, and actionable. Let's get started. So purpose statements are a powerful tool for business, but sometimes, they're sitting up there on that wall and people don't pay attention because they're just kind of blah, don't make a lot of sense there. But, we want to break down how to create a purpose statement that not only inspires, but it also provides clear guidance for decision-making and growth. So that's kind of the focus here. So Tulio, what makes a good purpose statement?
So the great thing about what makes a good purpose statement is that it's very simple. In fact, it's only three key essential qualities that are needed. And I love this because big ideas are always very simple. So number one, it's got to be authentic. So it should reflect the true values and aspiration of the organization. Number two, it needs to reflect some action. So it's got to be actionable. It needs to provide a clear framework for decision-making and strategy. So how do we use our guiding star to make the decisions that every day in our business? And then three, it needs to be aspirational. And this is where you're shooting for the star, sort of when people say shooting for the star, right? Or shoot for the moon. So it's got to be aspirational. It's got to inspire not only the employees, but also customers and all the stakeholders that rally behind a common goal. So that's the key thing. It's to think more of creating community amongst your employee base, amongst your customer base, even amongst your investors. If you think of creating community instead of stakeholders, where you kind of look at everybody differently, if you create a sense of community, then you have an aspirational approach to it, and it becomes a common goal for everyone. And when all these elements come together, that purpose statement really becomes a guiding star that aligns and energizes the entire organization. That's the key thing. It's not just about aligning the organization. It's about energizing the organization. It has to meet these two criteria.
Yeah, I think
that's not complicated, but
but it is, I guess.
But a lot of companies seem to not get it for some reason.
A lot of companies seem to have like the create shareholder value, and that's not inspiring anyone. So let's walk through some practical steps here for creating a purpose statement that truly guides growth. So I would say step one, you got to engage in some reflection and discovery and start by asking some key questions. So why does your organization exist? What difference do you want to make in the world? How do your values shape your goals? So involve leaders, employees, even customers in this process if you need to. Their perspectives can help uncover themes that resonate deeply with the entire organization. So companies often skip this kind of reflection and jump straight into drafting, right? Where they're just like, okay, hey, let's make this purpose statement. Let's get this done. Got a couple hours, we can pound this out. But without this sort of foundation, purpose statements can feel hollow. So you really want to spend some time, reflecting on this and going through not just the motions of trying to write this, but really thinking it through to set your foundation. Tulio,
before going to the second step, I want to highlight something about.
I can see the wheels turning in your head too.
Yes. Well, because the first step is so important. I'll never forget. I was bringing together 6 different companies on a post-merger initiative, and global CEO was like, "Let's just come up with a new name." And I was like, "No, we have to actually redefine who we are as a coming together all these different companies, what our values are coming together. We have to reflect on who we want to be now that we're coming together. And it took a while to get that done. So it's so important, really important to have that reflection. Okay, step 2, then you need to identify your core impact, right? Once you figure out what do we stand for, who we are, what is our core ideology as a business, then what is the core impact you're going to have? And this is really, think about the impact organization makes beyond profit. So it's not just the impact to the bottom line. Are you solving a problem? Are you meeting a need in the market? Are you creating a better future? So these are all great questions to ask yourself. And for example, Tesla, their purpose isn't just to make electric cars, it's to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. And this has long legs too, because that could be electric cars today. It could be something else 20 years from now. And this clarity impacts and sharpens the focus of the purpose statement. So it's not just about what you do, but it's about why you do it and why it matters to the world. That's the key thing.
Yeah, for sure. So the other element here, next step, I would say, and this one is very difficult, is keep it simple and memorable. You know, your purpose statement should be concise and easy to understand. Avoid jargon and overly complex language. A good rule of thumb is that anyone in the organization should be able to remember and explain it. I've seen companies try to pack way too much into their purpose statement. It ends up kind of diluting the message and you just can't remember it, right? So keeping it simple ensures that it sticks with people and it becomes kind of the true North Star of decision making. So when they're thinking about what do I need to do here, they can recall that purpose statement very easy and help guide them. Tulio, what else should we consider?
Well, this is another important step. And ideally, you want to have the entire organization participate in these steps we just mentioned. But if you are more of a traditional, hierarchical, old school company where maybe just a few people, even one person at the top decided all this, before you go and say, this is what we're doing now, test it. Test it for alignment, right? This is not the time to kind of have an ego and says, I got to figure this out. Let's launch it. Now, this is an opportunity to think of everything you've done so far as a draft, right? And you test it. So does it resonate with your employees? Does it resonate with the leaders across the organization? Does it resonate with your customers? And even with your investors, does it resonate with them? Does it resonate with your partners? And does it align with your organizational values and goals? Is there an alignment there? This step actually ensures that the statement feel authentic so that they reflect the organization's true identity. So it's things like you can ask those individuals I just mentioned, things like, does this inspire you? And does this feel actionable to you? And this is about, you'll learn very quickly if it's hitting the mark or if it needs refinement, because that's the true testament of whether it's going to actually be aspirational to get the feedback from the people that it's supposed to inspire.
Yep, for sure. So next step, make it actionable. You know, connect your purpose statement to your strategy and your operations. It should inform your decisions. So whether you're launching a new product, hiring a new team member, or entering a new market, if the statement isn't guiding decisions, it's just words on a wall, and that does nothing for you. So purpose only works when it's really integrated into the organization's DNA, right? When everybody knows it. So leaders need to use it as a filter for their decision making and encourage their teams to do the same. An example of this, we always use Patagonia because they're great, but their purpose statement is, we're in business to save our home planet. So this is very clear, right? It's, how many words is that? That's about 7 or 8. Very simple. We're in business to save our home planet. It's clear, authentic, deeply actionable. Every decision they make, whether it's, you know, sourcing their materials or choosing which causes to support, it's guided by this purpose statement.
You know what's super powerful about that statement too, Stephen? That no matter who hears it, they want them to succeed at that because it impacts every single one of us. So It's so aspirational. You actually want that company to be successful at what they're saying that they do because it impacts so many people. That's really
And you'll
a
see
super
them,
powerful purpose statement.
and you'll see them make some very radical decisions based on that, not knowing whether it's going to be profitable or not. In the end, it often turns out to be profitable because it's just this very authentic purpose that they have. So one of the things that we've been working on with our tool AI CMO, you can go get on the wait list right now, or maybe you're in there using it at the moment. AICMO.io, go there to check it out. One of the things we have there is a purpose tool that'll help you craft your purpose. We've got a whole series of questions in there that will really get you to reflect upon, different aspects of your business. And we worked pretty hard to make those purpose statements simple. That was not an easy task. I remember the first bunch coming out, and we're just like, no, this is not working. This is too verbose. This is too verbose. Come on. And we refined until we got it down to something that's really memorable. And this is one of those wow moments, I think, when people get into our tool or they're using this, and then we just give them a whole list of different ways of crafting that purpose statement. And they're like, oh, wow. And they can take 2 or 3 of these, to their team and say, hey, what do you guys think of these? And sort of cut that iteration process down by days or weeks or months, often even longer if you're just trying to avoid this task altogether. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining us on this Scaling with Purpose episode. So I hope these steps give you a roadmap to creating a purpose statement that guides your business toward meaningful growth. In our next episode, we're going to explore how to embed purpose into your company's culture so it's lived and breathed every day. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with others, and we'll see you on the next Bliss Business Podcast.